What up? Welcome to a special edition of the Swish Masters Podcast. Here live on Juneteenth 2023, the new national holiday that is. Shout out to President Biden putting it into writing. Q, what's happening?
Hey, what's up? This is co-host QtheGuru. We got a lot of things on the docket for today. We appreciate you for listening in. Hornets. Man, Michael Jordan selling the Hornets. What's up with that? What's our thoughts on that? And Karl Anthony Towns made some very interesting comments that we would like y'all to hear about, and we're going to react to that. Lots of other NBA news and trade scenarios we're talking about too, so your team is most likely going to be mentioned, so y'all stick around and appreciate y'all support. And yeah, let's get it, man.
Absolutely. Tune in.
Zay, y'all almost had him.
Almost got him.
But it's done. Bradley Beal has been traded after a long time too, by the way. And some NBA fans have been wanting this trade to happen for a long time. Not necessarily the destination, but the player to be traded.
Yeah.
Because it's not the best situation in Washington.
For sure. For those of you who don't know, Bradley Beal, star guard for the Washington Wizards, has been traded to the Phoenix Suns, and it's a lot of ways for people to feel about it, but I got the official details here. The Washington Wizards are currently finalizing a trade to send all-star guard Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns. Beal is waiving his no-trade clause to form a new Big Three. That's right, another one, Q. A new Big Three with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Still working through the framework to potentially add a third team, so we'll see how that goes. But it's official that he's going to be going to Phoenix. Along with Bradley Beal, the Wizards are sending Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd, who is one of their 2021 draft picks, G League player who's played most of the time in the G League. His contract is guaranteed, though, for the 2023-24 season. So he's going along. And then for the Wizards, they're getting Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, second-round picks, multiple pick swaps for Bradley Beal. And like I said, it's not exactly finalized, but they may be shipping CP3 elsewhere to another third team to contend. So we'll see probably in the next few days or so where that deal exactly ends up with CP3. But for now, we know Bradley Beal is a new Phoenix Sun.
Yeah. And their roster right now, officially right now, it's going to be Cameron Payne, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. On the bench, they have Ishmael Wainwright, and we just talked about the potential two players involved in the Wizards trade too. Mm-hmm. So it's their cap situation is not good.
Yeah,
and it's hard to make more moves with this cap situation like this. For example, I believe their cap space, at least as of Sunday, it was negative 31.6 million. So they're way over the cap, way over it. Now, let's look at the trade, of course, from the Suns' perspective, because I feel like that's where we have to attack it first. First of all, how you feel about the move? You like it? Like it, love it, hate it?
I mean, it's so funny because I've been seeing the Twitter war over it. A lot of people feel like it's Brooklyn all over again. I saw Yusuf Nurkic from Portland tweet that.
Oh, you tweeted that?
He tweeted that.
Dang.
It's Brooklyn all over again. Which in some ways it kind of looks that way because, yeah, you added a superstar player, but you have no depth. You don't really have another good set of role players outside of Cameron Payne. You have two free agents in Bosley and Bismack Biyombo, who may or may not re-sign, and can you really pay anyone? Because Bradley Beal also has like a $200 million contract that he's currently on that is going to be guaranteed that he's going to get his money. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fill out the rest of the team. I personally think that Bradley Beal can be good with them. They'll be good. They'll be competing for sure. I don't know how far they can go, particularly with this, I guess, new big three. What does your support come from outside of that? And two, health has been a big thing for really all three of these guys. Booker has been, to me, the most healthy, but we know Kevin Durant's health history, as well as Bradley Beal having some time in and out. But overall, they'll be a good squad. I think they got shooting. They've got the shooters for sure. But I just want to see how the rest of the team rounds out. I feel like they'll be competitive, and it's an interesting move. Like on just talent wise, yeah, I would have made the move, but salary wise and trying to like build out a roster, not exactly the best move to me. But if they win, it pays off. It's just, to me, I wouldn't make the move because it's like already having salary cap issues and got to get the rest of the team. You got to have a deeper squad than just the starting five and really your big three. So,
right. As far as the rest of the roster goes, the only hope that they have is to sign veterans on very minimal deals. Really. And can you attract veterans to come play for you to potentially get a championship? That's really the only hope they have. Similar to how the Lakers first did their thing when they had, LeBron and AD, and they had all these different veterans join them. They had to do something like that. Other than that, they could try to see if they can trade DeAndre Ayton, because the cap situation is terrible. So I feel like you kind of have to trade DeAndre Ayton at this point. Yeah. Trade him, see what other pieces you can get to help with the depth. Can help adjust that cap situation a little bit. And maybe can get more pieces that can help fit and play with those players. I know we mentioned it before about potentially Ayton going to the Pacers, maybe. Because the Pacers did initially want him when he was a restricted free agent. Is that still on the deck? Is that still an option? I think that'll be ideal. But until I see the final roster, I'm gonna hold off like my judgment right now. But right now, this is not a move I would make like that says, okay, automatic contender. Not to me. I want to make this move. I feel like, this is definitely going to make us a contender. Even after all is said and done, even after they make the roster, I'm still not going to feel like they're going to be the favorites. To me, in the West, I still won't put Denver in that spot. Honestly, this team against Denver, who I'm going to pick? I'm most likely going to pick Denver at this point. Because, again, the key is Jokic.
Yeah.
If you're not going to get in, until you figure out that, I'm not going to look at your squad like that. And we didn't even talk about defensively yet. They have Frank Vogel, who is a defensive-minded coach, which is true. But I feel like you need a special mind to get these players to work together, man. Honestly. And who's going to be that playmaker? I mean, I like Cameron Payne. I guess he'll have to be but it's only one basketball, man. KD has played different situations. Like, KD will be fine.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Well, with Bradley Beal was with John Wall. He was kind of off-ball, catch-and-shoot type player. Can he go back to that? I feel like he could. I feel like maybe Devin's going to be the one playmaking. Have you seen Devin play make?
Yeah.
He can do it. But can he do it consistently, though?
Yeah. I think that's a good point to bring up with John Wall and Bradley Beal. personally, I think that it's going to benefit him playing with these two guys because he started off his career as a more of a spot up catch and shoot guy, and when John got hurt and eventually was traded, he had to take on a bigger role, basically creating his own shot, which is good. Like it's a good thing to be able to do that. But I feel like in this particular situation, he's gonna benefit. He doesn't have to get 25 a game. I don't think he has to, scoring wise, take on a big load. He can pick and choose his spots a little bit more because Kevin Durant's going to draw attention. Devin Booker's going to draw attention, and you can't guard if those guys are attacking the basket like Kevin Durant should. It's going to open up things for the rest of the team, really. So I feel like it could benefit from a basketball standpoint. It's just still, like you said, they don't have like a primary playmaker. Devin Booker has played the playmaking role, but I think that they would just someone who can get easy shots, like who's gonna like penetrate the basket. Like, for lack of a better comparison, I think of like what Rondo was in Boston, right? You got Pierce, you got KG, you got Ray Allen, and in this case, I feel like Bradley Beal takes on the Ray Allen role where he's not necessarily needing to get every shot on his own. But if you have a good setup guy, you get those corner threes, you get those pin down screens, you get easy baskets when Durant and Booker are handling the ball. So I think it's a good move from a basketball standpoint, just not the salary build out the rest of the team wise. So we'll see how it goes. I'm in the same boat with you. It's kind of hard to say that this is going to make a big difference until they have a full team. And as we've seen, the big three hasn't really been the best move in the past few seasons. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm not mad at the basketball look of it.
So you mentioned the big three. It's not really a thing anymore. When you look at the NBA champions, this is a team that was stuck together for a while. Team chemistry, add pieces here and there to enhance it, like build more around Jokic and Murray, right? That's where we see the success come from, even in the team like Miami.
Yeah.
Similar structure. Team that's been together for a while, you add pieces to try to enhance the team. And you get there. These big threes have not panned out. And if we look at Kevin Durant,
I don't know.
Yo, this is just fast right now, bro. This is
I know.
This is another big three.
Yeah.
We saw how it went with Brooklyn. And the most successful one he's been was with Golden State.
Yeah.
So now we get another situation here with the Suns. Mm-hmm. Personality wise, I think they all should fit. I feel like they're all chill, cool basketball dudes, focus on basketball, right?
Want to win.
Yeah, they want to win. That's the difference between Kyrie Irving and James Harden, right? That was in Brooklyn. Frank Vogel is a coach that has experience coaching superstar players, so that gives you a little confidence. But I am not convinced, and there's so much pressure because you made this move to get to the finals, where if you don't get there, it could potentially hurt KD's legacy. Is that too far-fetched to say that? Just thinking about the recent things that happened, and the KD doesn't make it to the finals. Remember how they flamed out again? But again, this is KD's first time on the team, so I'm not blaming KD here. I'm just saying he didn't have the best series either, by the way.
No.
So it passed 2 playoffs. Remember, they got swept the year before. When he was in Brooklyn. Yeah. It's not looking good right now. So to me, they gotta get some stuff done here. And there were no excuses. You're together, training camp, all that. No, I don't want to hear no excuses. Just saying. I think they had a better shot when it was just the roster was fine. The roster was fine. Just add smaller pieces here and there to expand your depth.
Yeah.
And if Aiden really wanted out, get rid of Aiden,
Mm-hmm.
So this is just, it's win now mode for real. And if it doesn't work out, I think it hinders KD's legacy a little bit. I'm just saying. No hate on KD. I like KD.
Yeah, no, point taken. I think that with his history, in the eyes of fans, his legacy is a little bit shaky because of his decisions and where they've led to so far. Obviously, he went to the Warriors and won 2 championships and left, tried to form his own, I guess, big three or being the guy who establishes something new and then, taking it a step further. And he hasn't been able to. And a lot of people already make this argument that, Steph is one without him.
Yep.
And it's like, from the hierarchy of the fans, I'm sure he's dropped a good bit. And yeah, I definitely think that if you're going to be considered one of the better or best players in the league, then you have to get the job done. And overall, we know he's capable of it. He's won. But when it comes to his all-time ranking and where people like settle on him, it's gonna be shifted if it's just a bad look if you continue to form these quote unquote super teams and big threes and you can't really make any type of noise. Brooklyn had a chance with Kyrie and James. They got hurt and he did all he could, so it was respect. But then the next season went out bad, very bad, got swept. And then you get traded to Phoenix, and I don't know if Phoenix has already had like a curse or something because they got blown out in their last elimination game, got blown out again with KD, who did not have a good game at all. It's bad. So definitely hope that it pays off with all the moves and decisions that he's made so far. I think that Kevin Durant is still one of the best players that we've seen, like a generational talent.
For sure.
I just think that when it comes to the basketball hierarchy, he's gonna be
the big picture. A
very different like outlook of things. If he continues to go in this path of like, all right, I got this guy, we got a big three, and you get bounced in round 1 or 2. So
that wouldn't be good.
No.
I want to go back to the CP3 side of the trade. We never discussed him. So now, you mentioned it earlier that he could potentially be rerouted and traded again to another destination.
Yeah.
But there's some news that came out too. So the Clippers and the Warriors were among the teams in contact with the Suns before the Wizards deal happened. So can you imagine CP3 reuniting with the Clippers? 1. And 2, I'm wondering who Golden State was willing to trade within that scenario there. That's my next question. So like, I'm assuming Bradley Beal, not Bradley Beal, I'm sorry, Jordan Poole and Kuminga were probably involved in that deal somehow to get CP3 in. I'm trying to imagine what Golden State would look like with CP3. Steph Curry. I'm assuming they would probably have Klay Thompson. I mean, it's okay. I don't love it. I mean, it's okay. I just saying. Anyway, these are the potential spots for CP3 now. We talked about the Lakers before. Since the Warriors went after him before the trade, maybe they can go after him again. And the Clippers. So out of those 3 teams, which one is the best fit for CP3? If it's neither one of them, what team do you think? What team do you have in mind would be the best spot for CP3?
There are a couple things you can go with on these potential trades, I guess. I'm gonna start with Golden State, and this is why I don't think he would be a top choice for them. Not that he wouldn't be a choice, but not a top choice for the Warriors. Mm-hmm. Look at their motion offense. They're always moving, always some off action off of the ball for Steph, Clay, whoever. And I think that CP3 to me they play a little bit faster compared to a lot of teams. And there's no dig at CP3, but he's getting older, and he's not exactly able to just run.
Yeah, we saw that in the playoff series too. When he was out, they were playing faster, and it kind of helped him.
He's not exactly going to be like fast breaking every chance he gets to get out in transition, which is, he's more of like the floor general who's going to like play with pace. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to have. I just don't know if that really fits with what Golden State is trying to do. Right. The other side of that is that if he's if he were to go join the Warriors, it would be good to me if he could be. And this is the thing, like I don't know what he wants to do at this point in his career. Like, does he want to come off the bench? If he were to be like the backup point guard to Steph, which is, it could be either way because there's a lot of ego, and I don't think he has like a big thing with pride. I don't think so.
The history there too, man.
There's history there, and I don't know if he would like necessarily start. I mean, obviously there could be situations where I feel like it would benefit them because Steph could play off the ball.
Right.
CP put the ball in his hands. He can make a play out of the pick and roll. That motion offense is pretty solid for if you get the right person. Now we saw how KD was able to make an impact. Obviously, CP3 and KD are two different players, but CP could instantly, I'm sure, fit into the offense some way and make it easier for guys like Clay and Steph to get open shots. But I just don't know how that would look because does he want to start somewhere and be a contender, or does he want to just fit in where he can? And is he going to be able to keep up with that type of like up and down transition game all like season? Mm-hmm. And CP3 is one of my favorite point guards ever, but he's older. You know what I mean? Like you have to take in consideration what this 82 games is going to look like, and you have injury history. So on the other side, the Clippers are kind of needing a
point guard. You have to figure out with the Russell Westbrook situation. I mean, like, what do you want? Still want to try to keep Russ? Or
I think they should, but who knows? But if he were to return there, I feel like that could be a slightly better fit because if looking at their type of game, it's not exact. They get out in transition, of course, but they play a little bit more half court oriented. Mm-hmm. CP PG13. Sorry, Kawhi once he's healthy again, that could be interesting. To see the setup guy pick and roll stuff to open up things for him.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a better fit for him compared to the Warriors. So I totally agree about the Clippers, and that could be a. And then you have Ty Lue there too. I would love to see how Chris Paul will look under a coach like Ty Lue.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll make it work. So I like that. Someone brought up, do you potentially have both of them, like Russ and Chris Paul? Now I'll say this: as far as point guard play goes, you don't have to worry about the season. Like you'll be great. Like I'll have no worries.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, but it's the same thing. Like, will it work out? Like egos, whatever. I know they're good friends, but it can be different when you have to actually work together. So Those are all questions, and of course, not a one of us are huge fans of the Laker prospect with CP3 being there. I just like the potential of seeing him in the Lakers jersey for me personally, because it should have happened a long time ago.
Should have seen it years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see potentially seeing LeBron playing with another one of his best friends would have been kind of cool. So that's all.
Crew.
Yeah, exactly. He would have played with all of them. This happens. Like,
that's true.
If this happens, he would have played with all his best friends before retiring. So
yeah.
And I feel like point IQ level, those two on the same team, I think that'll be great basketball to watch. It's just that the fit is not the best. Just CP3 is older. It's not going to work. So out of those three teams, I say Clippers is probably the best situation. Other than that, he can go to a team that's more youthful and he'd be like a mentor like he was to OKC. He helped SGA grow tremendously with his time at OKC. So maybe go to the Kings, help a guy like De'Aaron Fox, mentor him, and come off the bench, And they were in the playoffs. I'm sure they can contend again. So
true.
Something like that, maybe. We'll see. Although Miami didn't get Bradley Beal, again, you guys were contenders to get him, by the way.
No.
There's a sense, there's a rumor that Miami could be a destination for Damian Lillard. We talked about this before. Dame was on the podcast. He openly expressed that. And it could be a thing. Y'all think y'all can make a real run at Damian Lillard if things don't work out over the summer. And as soon as we'll know, we'll be like, I believe it's July 9th is when his trade restrictions is over. So that's when we'll know. And the first big sign is the NBA draft. What are the Trailblazers going to do with that pick? Are they going to go for Scoot Henderson? Young player, good player, potentially an all-star player, but not necessarily someone that can help the Trailblazers win right now, which is what Dame wants. Are you going to use that pick to trade and get other pieces? If they don't do those things, Dame could be out of Portland very soon, and we could potentially see him in Miami. And it also came out during the Bradley Beal rumors and stuff that they are unwilling to trade Tyler Hero at all. I was kind of surprised to see that. I mean, so whatever deals y'all do make, potentially, Tyler Hero is not going to be involved. So it may be Duncan Robinson, a pick or whatever, some picks, and maybe another value player, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? I know you gotta be very excited. And do you agree that you prefer to have Dame over Bradley Beal, like the report said?
I think that adding someone like Dame, and don't get me wrong, both of these guys are very, very much superstar talented players. I think a guy like Dame just commands so much more when you look at what he does. I'm not just talking about scoring, but just the potential threat that Dame presents at all times. He crosses half court, and you're like, all right, I need to play up, or do I need to fall back? Do I get in pick and roll? Because if you had a pick and roll with, let's say, Dame and Bam, that's double playmaking, lob threat, score, pick and pop, pick and roll. There's a lot that could be happening out of that, just that one action. Compared to and Bradley Beal still commands that, but I don't think he's like at the volume of a Damian Lillard. And I mean, if it happens, this is the thing. Dame and Bradley Beal both have been in this situation where it's like for years we've been like, all right, you need to leave. All right, let's make a trade. Let's do something. Like get you out of this, get you out of that, and. I mean, it took a long time, but Bradley Beal got out of there. Dame is a little bit different, though. He's very loyal. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing. It's just kind of a lot that's got to happen for that to really come into fruition, I think. But if it were to be an opportunity, I'm not opposed to it at all. I just would, it's gonna be hard to see how it goes, and the draft is a good indicator, like you said, because there are some decisions to be made, and a lot of names have been swirling around up until this point, at least, and I'm interested, man. I've seen like these rumors about Jimmy's recruiting Dame, and Dame is obviously went out and been asked about where he would like and if he would like this place or that place, and Miami is a choice for sure. But yeah, I just I'm also kind of surprised by the Tyler Hero is not accessible in these situations, but I trust the front office in Miami to do what they need to build this team and make another run at it. So Q, we got another bit of NBA news here. One of the greatest six men to ever do it, underground GOAT, Lou Will, man, officially hanging it up, retiring after 17 seasons, man. Like I said, one of the greatest six men of all time.
Got a song after him, everything, bro.
I know, six
man like Lou Will.
Yeah, man. I was just recently watching an old episode of, it was a podcast. Dang, I can't. Knuckleheads podcast, Q&D, and he was on there talking about just his career in retrospect a little bit, and at that time he was still actively trying to get a contract, something that was going to work for him and whatever team, and
right.
Decided sometimes it doesn't work out, and still 17-year career, very long. Another guy who was straight out of high school, solid, just bucket getter, man. One of the best talents, just hoopers, pure hooper that I've ever seen for sure. Shout out to Lou Will, man, and I know he's going to do well in retirement post hoops and still going to be doing great things, man. So,
yep,
Lou.
Yeah, get you a bucket anytime you need it, man. The last run we saw Lou was when he was on the Clippers. They are on their run. They were heavily favored against, and they were able to, I think, get a game. I forgot the team they were going against at the time, but Lou was definitely a star in that game, in that playoff series. So,
absolutely, I remember, like you said, that was that Clippers run, and they made the conference finals without PG, without Kawhi.
It was out without Kawhi, yeah.
And at some point, him and Montrezl Harrell were like right here with each other for six-man nomination. So it was cool. But yeah, man, he definitely had some battles over the years and played for a few teams over his time. Small guard, you don't see a lot of guys his size that can do what he does. And do it effectively, man. So, 3-time six man of the year. No one's got more than that. It's pretty dope.
It's nice, man. Now my mind goes to, and then we got Melo retiring, and now we got Lil Will, man. To the best scorers we can see in the game, gone, man. So,
yeah,
it's tough. It's tough. I know for sure. Melo's Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame is like so different now because it's like first you gotta wait a couple years anyway.
Yeah. They put the Jordan rule in play.
Basically.
Yeah.
I wonder what he'll do next though.
I think he does music and he's got his own businesses and stuff. As well as Melo also does like his own business stuff and wine company, all kinds of stuff, man. So I think that retirement's going to treat him well. You brought up the Hall of Fame. I definitely think Melo is going to be
Melo for sure.
Hall of Fame.
First ballot.
Lou Will should as well. There's no one who's scored more off the bench
Yeah,
outside of Crawford.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was the reason why I was thinking too. Like, no one has been like Lil Will in the 6-man role like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like he was deserving. I don't know if he'll be first ballot, but I feel like he'll be a Hall of Famer.
I think so. I think he deserves it. Looking at the body of work and just everything that he's accomplished, even though obviously he didn't win a championship, but
Right.
his resume is pretty impressive.
It is. So he should be. Yeah, shout out to Lil Will, man.
6
Good
man
luck on
like
you.
Will.
Good luck on your future endeavors, man. It's gonna be good to see. We'll be watching, man. And whenever you do get in the Hall of Fame, we'll celebrate him again then. So
100%.
cool. Remember we talked about Draymond Green and what he's gonna do with his option. So he declined his option today.
Oh man.
All right, so this opens the door for several things to happen. One, he's a free agent; he can sign anywhere he wants. Two, he could resign with the Warriors. I mean, like, he gotta be trying to get a bigger bag or going to try to win. If he wants a bigger bag, he'll probably have to go to teams that are not contenders so much, or fringe contenders, maybe like. Maybe the Rockets. I can see him being a good fit there. Maybe a good leader, facilitate, provide some leadership. This is gonna come up, and I'm gonna say it now. We already know Lakers is tied with him and LeBron. I'm just gonna say that, get it out of the way. Is he willing to join the Lakers on a less deal, on a shorter deal, lesser deal? I don't know. Depends on what he wants to do. Even if he does join the Lakers, does that move the needle for me? Not so much. I mean, it helps defensively, but I'm not sure I like it so much. You need more if you're the Lakers. And that shouldn't be the priority if you're the Lakers. So, that's just me. Other than that, that's really it, man. And with him opting out, we talked about the Golden State Warriors dynasty being over. I really feel like now it's about over, man. Like, Draymond was so central.
Dunskies.
It's like, it's done. So, and that tells you how much that punch really played a factor in that season, man. Like, so you got this going on. Jordan Poole and Kuminga are apparently in the trade market. So it's like, yeah, teams are eyeing Kuminga and Poole.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike Dunleavy, the new Warriors GM, has been receiving calls on potential trades for Kuminga and Poole. That's a report from ESPN. So, yo, this is like, they're really trying to revamp this roster to try to contend. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. But first domino has fallen. Draymond Green has opted out. What are your thoughts on this and where you see him going, I guess?
Man, 2022 feels like a long time ago. And that's when they just won the championship.
I know,
prior
right?
to the season.
Good point.
And to be where they are is like weird. Because we know how special this Warriors organization has been over the past few years. But things change, man. Draymond, I'm pretty sure wants a big contract or bigger contract than what he has currently or had.
But doesn't the fact that he's already got another job that's for a lot of money count? Like, dude, I don't know.
It may be a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't say necessarily that he has another full like contract job. I would say
another full contract job, dude.
I'm not disagreeing with that part. I'm saying that I think him as a whole outside of basketball definitely has a part in it. Not just like that he works for TNT or Turner Sports. Him as a whole outside of just playing basketball on the court does have a factor for sure.
Yeah.
Some ways good, some ways not so good. But I personally don't think that he's gonna. I don't know what he's looking for exactly, like far as the number, but I don't really feel like he's gonna get a big contract anywhere else. I'm trying to justify, but I can't. I can't really say.
Was
He
was like
declined
27 million. Yeah, 28
million.
million. Yeah, like 27, 28 million. And do you
Yeah,
see the team giving him like 30 million plus? I don't. And considering what he got into last season, like that's a little bit of a stain, man. And I hate to say this too, but you don't bring in the podcast too, man. No, I mean actually, a lot of players are doing that.
yeah.
So it's more of a normal thing. But I'm just saying, there's some things you're going to bring into that situation too. So
I think the other thing about the whole Draymond situation is not necessarily. I'm not even talking about like his podcast or anything like that outside of court. I think it does have an effect, but in particular with him, the contract that he wants, I think he wants a longer term contract. So he wants like
max deal type thing,
multiple years. I wouldn't say. I don't think he's like trying to get a max because what level of max is he for one, and then two, if you get him for on a multiple year deal, let's just say he goes somewhere and signs for 4 or 5 years and he's like locked into that, and you're trying to also add pieces or add other things, but if you give Draymond, I don't know, 5 years, 60 million, something like that, where does that like impact you when you're trying to get other guys to come? And if you lock up money with Draymond that you feel like you could probably give to someone else and get more out of it, why would you give that money to Draymond? I feel like that's what teams are kind of like looking at, because I feel like last year or something like that, maybe we were talking about the whole Draymond situation already because it came up, and I think he wants like a good deal for like multiple years, and that's where I'm like, well, if you do that, where does that put your future and adding other assets and players to be able to eventually, meet your goals if you're trying to win a championship and stuff like that. So that's the thing, and obviously we know that there's been this whole love for the Lakers thing with Draymond for a while. So I still don't think that would be moving the needle for them. So
yeah. There's a string of rumors and news that came out. It's off season time. Rumors are ramping up. So if you want to hit some of these, and we'll talk about some of our favorite ones. So one, we already mentioned it earlier, but some teams are calling about Kuminga and Poole. We kind of addressed that already. The Hawks are targeting Pascal Siakam in the trade. So any other player other than Trae Young can be available in that trade for Siakam. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that in a second. And other than that, Indiana, Brian Windhorst is reporting that the Pacers are trying to move the number 7 pick in a trade for a wing player. In my mind, that could be used for something like a Pascal Siakam, honestly. A wing player. Yeah. And speaking of the Raptors are unwilling to move OG Anunoby because Anunoby is, of course, getting a lot of external trade interest, but Toronto is reluctant. That's according to Mark Stein. And finally, the Kyrie Irving news. The Mavericks seem to be the only bidder for Irving right now for his services. So, yeah, all those moves. Which one interests you the most? We had, the Golden State Warriors, Kuminga and Poole, getting a lot of calls. You had the Hawks targeting Pascal Siakam. You also have teams gauging about OG Anunoby. And finally, Kyrie Irving is not getting as many looks as he thought. So,
Yeah.
yeah, which one of those interests you the most?
I would say for me, the Pascal Siakam Atlanta connection.
Yeah.
I think we've heard a lot about John Collins being in trades with Spurs and this team and that team. And to me, that one could make some sense for the Hawks. You add another dynamic wing who is long, who's tall, who can be a defensive presence. He can switch on multiple people. I think Pascal's like 6'9", 6'10". He can shoot the three. He can handle. Kind of take some pressure off of Trae Young, and I feel like it'll be a decent. It could be a decent move to make.
It could be.
And if they keep, I guess I'm just like thinking like they would move John Collins, and they keep Capella. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Keep DeJounte Murray. I think that's a good move. Kind of extend your range a little bit. John Collins can shoot the ball too, but Pascal to me is a bit more of a proven scorer compared to John.
Yeah. He can create his own shot.
I think they could relieve a lot of the pressure on Trae Young and add somebody who is a dynamic threat, mid-range, get to the basket, draw fouls.
And get championship pedigree, too.
Championship pedigree, can switch on defense to guards if need be for possessions at a time, and he can defend taller guys too. So I feel like it's a win-win. If that were to be the case, we'll see. I like the potential there.
Same here. Even if I think Brian reported that about the Indiana's trying to trade for a high-value wing, and Siakam fits that mold too. That'll be potentially a good fit there too. But I want to hit on this Kyrie Irving stuff, bro. So after all this is said and done, the only teams they're even looking at you right now are the Mavericks, and it looks like he'll resign with the Mavericks, man. Because I feel like Kyrie wants this max deal, and teams are not willing to give a max deal like that, other than the Mavericks. So it's like, take what you can get. And Luka, I don't know if you've seen a recent picture of Luka, man. Luka is looking like
slim down.
Yeah, man. Yo, so we haven't seen Luka like that, so it could be a good time for the Mavericks, bro. Speaking of Mavericks too, I don't know if we talked about this, but I think they're also not re-signing Christian Wood. Do you remember seeing that?
I haven't seen that. No Christian Wood, huh? That's interesting.
I'm gonna pull it up just in case, but I think that's what it was. Yep. Christian Wood is on the market. The Mavs have moved on from free agent Christian Wood.
Wow.
See, personally, I like Christian Wood. So that's another asset someone can go get, because he is a free agent for real. So like, if the Mavs are not gonna go after him, that's like their advantage is gone, because they had the bird rights and they could have offered him way more money. So like, other teams can get in on it now. And I feel like Christian Wood is a valuable asset for anyone to have on their team.
He has size. He can shoot. He can post. Pick and roll threat. He's long. He's tall. Yeah, I don't.
There's any team you can go to, automatically get some help. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see where he goes. On my initial looking up some stuff. You see Bulls?
No, I see the Mavs are interested in Grant Williams.
Grant Williams.
Apparently, that's someone they've had interest in signing. I adding some defensive intensity. I don't know, but back to the Kyrie situation real quick.
Oh, okay.
I think teams would be more willing to take him if he weren't seeking a lot of money. And obviously, that's an obvious thing. But the reason he won't be able to get like a long-term solid contract is because of his actions. We already know that. Like, people don't feel like they can really rely on him, I guess. Like, trust him to show up for games and stuff. And it's kind of what he's done to his own business, I guess. Which, you know, there are many sides to this, but do you like the fit with Kyrie and Luka in Dallas?
Yeah, I like the fit, bro. They had a chance to make the playoffs. Yo, and they start off when they join together, losing, man. I mean, like, it takes time.
Yeah.
I think Kyrie is a box office player.
100%.
Right now, the fit hasn't proven to be great, but I would say give it some time though. We'll see how it goes after this upcoming season.
Yeah.
But on paper, it should work because you've seen Kyrie with LeBron.
Yeah, sure.
So it should work. It's just this iteration of Kyrie right now, like what's going on there. So, and defensively, they got issues. They need to fill out the roster. That's the one main difference because that Cavalier team, they had some defensive players, you know. This Mavs team, they got rid of their defensive players to get Kyrie. So that's where that's coming to. And then apparently that's another reason why Jason Kidd isn't a fan of re-signing Wood, because of his lack of defensive prowess and because of the injuries. So if that's what Jason Kidd thinks, I mean, that's fine, but I still think that's a great asset to have.
I think so too.
But yeah, that's what I think. What do you think but yeah, what do you think about the fit for Kyrie and Luka?
It's kind of wonky, and I do understand the LeBron-Kyrie combo comparison. I just think that for Luka in general, he's still a fairly young player, even though he's been playing professional basketball for many years. But his play style is more of a go get buckets first, then play make. Even though he can do both, obviously. We know he's a triple-double threat.
Right.
But I feel like Luka is more likely to succeed when he's like the primary ball handler. And we know Kyrie also is a ball handler and can do wonders for you in ISO 101. Just go get you a bucket. I guess them playing beside each other in the starting lineup is kind of interesting because it's kind of hard to say. I think they could be, if they figure out the rest of the team and like have some balance, that, you know, get three other guys on the floor with them that can space the floor, who can be potential threats in a pick and roll and be able to switch on to other guys, then yeah, it's just kind of hard to say. Like, we only got a small sample size and they didn't do so well.
Yo,
they did get
they ain't make the play in, bro. That's how bad it was.
Then they, you know,
considering where they started. Remember where they started now?
Yeah.
It's a fall. Like, no, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So after the conclusion of the NBA Finals, Adam Silver did say that he was going to announce the discipline for Ja Morant. It has now been revealed that Ja Morant has been suspended for 25 games. What I'm about to read now is a comment from Adam Silver announcing the decision. Ja Morant's decision to once again wield the firearm on social media is alarming and disconcerting given his similar conduct in March, for which he was already suspended 8 games. The potential for other young people to emulate Ja's conduct is particularly concerning. Under these circumstances, we believe a suspension of 25 games is appropriate and makes clear that engaging in reckless and irresponsible behavior with guns will not be tolerated. Ja is due to make around $33.5 million this season. He now stands to lose just over $300,000 per game during this suspension. That adds up to be about $7.5 million that he'll lose. So yeah, and with that being announced, Ja released a statement. Ja's statement is this. You can find this through Woj on Twitter. It says, "I've had time to reflect, and I realize how much hurt I've caused. I want to apologize to the NBA, the Grizzlies, my teammates, and the city of Memphis, to Adam Silver, Zach Kleiman, and Robert Pera, who gave me the opportunity to be a professional athlete and have supported me. I'm sorry for the harm I've done. To the kids who look up to me, I'm sorry for failing you as a role model. I promise I'm going to be better. To all of my sponsors, I'm going to be a better representation of our brands. And to all of my fans, I'm going to make it up to you. I promise. I'm spending the off season and my suspension continuing to work on my own mental health and decision making. I'm also have to load this again." So he said, it's a good statement compared to the other one we saw. So I'm also going to be trading so that I'm ready to go when I can be back on the court. I know my teammates are going to hold it down, and I'm so sorry I won't be there with you at the beginning of the season. I hope you'll give me the chance to prove to you over time I'm a better man than what I've been showing you. So that statement was definitely more genuine to me than the previous statement when it first came out. A lot of people claim that ChatGPT wrote that. It was funny. That was funny. And now, Ja Morant's camp reached out via David Meneman. No, not Dave. Tim and Man for ESPN. He normally covers the Dallas Mavericks and stuff like that. He's been working a long time. So anyway, Ja Morant's camp reportedly feels like the NBA and the media are out to get them. So he says this, I have heard indirectly that Ja and people close to Ja, perhaps people formerly close to Ja, have this feeling that the NBA is out to get them, that the media is out to get them. So that's that. So that's a lot to react to. Yeah, so it's officially 25 games. Me personally, when I first heard that, I was surprised it was 25 games. I was thinking it would have been more. Honestly, I don't know. Did you get that feeling too? I thought it was gonna be more than 25.
I agree. I thought it was gonna be more.
But with it only being 25, he does lose eligibility on like All NBA and All-Star and all those other accolades. Like he loses out on that, so that's tough. And like I reported earlier, like I read earlier, he's gonna stand to lose about $7.5 million. This has been controversial too. There are some conditions along with this too. The conditions haven't really been announced yet, as far as I can tell. But I'm wondering what those conditions are. I'm wondering if it includes like seeking therapy or counseling, maybe. I wonder if it includes something like that. Some people think it's weird that he's able to still practice with the team. And he's still allowed to be around the team facilities and stuff like that. And he can still practice. That has been a big debate. Me personally, I can see both sides, but if the core of this is like mental stress, you should have people around you and more people around you to support you. So I support that. And about this camp, if whoever it is talking about, you feel like the NBA is out to get you or the media is out to get them. No, we not. No, we not, bro. Honestly, it's a blessing. It's only 25 games. First of all. 2, there's no one to blame but your camp. It was the camp, whoever, that recorded the dude on video in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because of the camp that this is happening in the first place. That's thing number 1. Number 2, at this point, we need to see more accountability at this point. This is not something we want to hear. Especially after that great statement Ja put out. That's the last thing we want to hear. That's the last thing I want to hear right now. Talking about the media and NBA is out to get them. There may be some people with ill intentions maybe doing that. No one's perfect. There are some ill people out there, but for the most part, I feel like everyone's being fair for the most part. Like, it's justified for the most part. So that's my reaction to it. I was surprised it was 25. I hope Ja's a man of his word, because this is kind of basically like I don't want to say it, but it's kind of like a slap on the wrist a little bit. Because that's a bare minimum that he got. The bare minimum.
Yeah.
So that's my reaction to it. What are your thoughts on everything?
I'm with you on a lot of points, man. I think that Ja really I thought he was going to get like 35 to 40 games. It was talks of like, all right, there was a rumor that it was going to be the whole season. Then it was just like, but I was like, all right, he's going to get at least 30, 35. You got 25. So I was like, oh, what I'm surprised about, I actually didn't know that he's going to be able to practice and be at the facility, be around the team still, which is.
Yeah, that's what was reported, man.
To me, when I think of a suspension from the team, from the organization, he won't have contact with anyone. But like you said, his if it's like a mental health crisis, mental stress type thing, yeah, I think he does need to be around people. That's not to say that his teammates can interact with him or visit him or anything like that. But I kind of find it weird to be suspended, but you're like still getting to do everything except play in the game, still get the benefit of the facilities and everything else. But overall, I mean, I think in that case, it worked out for Ja, I guess. He's going to lose some money, obviously, which is, no one wants to do that. But it's kind of a lighter punishment than what I thought it was going to be. To the point of the camp making the.
To be clear, Ja. All right, so Ja just broke social media again. So like he with that report that came out, he retweeted someone with a big cap on. So apparently Ja is saying that whole report is cap. Okay. And if that is, cool, but my feelings are still the same. But I just want to make that clear that he literally just did that like not too long ago. Oh, as we're recording, so you can continue. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, well, good. Well, yeah, about his camp, like this man isn't getting targeted by the media. He literally had an issue with the guns in March, another one in May, like less than 2 months. The proof is in the live video that you're shooting. So if you think anybody's targeting, you yourself are targeting Ja, because why would you? The whole thing could have been avoided, which is what's crazy, because if he had a gun, we wouldn't have known unless you went to IG Live and then here's Ja with a gun. Let me put the phone down because Ja has a gun. Like, think, bro. All you had to do was not record it, and we wouldn't have known anything. Ja can carry around as many guns as he wants. There's nothing illegal about having a gun if it's registered and all that. It's just the fact that you represent a global brand in the NBA who has certain clauses, certain things that they can't represent, that they don't want to damage their brand. And yeah, a global brand that also is, for the most part, a lot of children and a lot of people seeing it. So I don't think a gun, waving it around, is a good look for a global business at the end of the day. And that's how they looked at it. And yeah, we as black people know the damage of gun violence. So no one's targeting Ja outside of the camp that recorded the man with the gun, and then knowing he just got in trouble for this, got suspended. If anything, Ja, we've already, everyone said this. Ja has to watch who he is hanging around with and allowing to be around him, because your friends aren't you. And if anything, if I was Ja's friend and Ja's taking me to different cities and hanging out and all this, why would I go and do something to mess it up? Why would I record you doing something that I know you aren't supposed to, put it on social media where everyone can see it, where the NBA can also see it, and now the friend of Ja Morant, can't do anything because now I've messed up Ja Morant's whole thing here. Like, come on, man. But anyway, I hope that Ja does seek out the treatment that he needs, to take the time to understand his actions and come out better come out better because of it, and on top of it, comes back better basketball wise, mentally, as just a human being in general. I think he's gonna bounce back. I hope he does. I hope he's learned and moves differently and watches who he, does activities with.
Karl Anthony Towns was on the podcast with Patrick Beverly, and they were talking about a lot of things, man. We gotta get into it another day too, about some things they were talking about in this podcast, man. But one of the things they talked about was who's the best center in the game today, basically. Pat Beverly gave his flowers to why he thinks Cat is the best in the game, and what we're about to listen to now is Cat's response to this. Really,
I mean, I just feel like, I'm gonna put it like this. I feel like when my time's up and I retire and I put the shoes up and I say, you know what, Pat, me, the kids and the wife, we gonna head out to the sunset and enjoy life. I feel like there's gonna be people who are gonna say, that I changed the game, and I'm gonna be very appreciative of that.
That's gangster.
Everything's up for stipulation, and you know what I like to say is that no matter when this is all over, that there's gonna be kids coming up saying that they're gonna be able to play a different way because I played in NBA and did it a different way.
that was Cat on where you think he'll stand, basically, at the end of all this. So, all right, man. So, I mean, fair. Okay. As far as like centers in the game that can space the floor, Cat can play inside out, right? But when we talk about game changers, we're talking about those that literally change the game to a certain degree. Like, all right, Shaq, literally a game changer, literally changing rules for this game. Will Chamberlain, game changer. The most recent game changer, Steph Curry, literally changed the game.
Yeah.
Those are game changers. And most of the time with game changers, they have success. They're doing too much. They're like, so you have to make different rules for them. Okay, like that's changing the game. Literally.
100%.
At AI. Like there are certain game changers and they have success. Dude.
Yeah.
Cat, I love you as a person, man, but like I would not put game changer as a descriptor of where you're at right now. Like potentially, Cat has so much potential, bro. So much potential. We said that coming out the draft, but and granted, he can shoot. Granted, he can do that. But I can argue right now, Nikola Jokic is more of a game changer than what Cat is right now. That's just me. So that's just my thing, man. Change what? I mean, Only thing that can make that statement accurate is if he's talking about like 2K or something. Like, yeah, I'm literally changing the game here to another game in my system. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, man. As far as the game of basketball, nah, bro. I respectfully disagree. That's what I'm gonna say. What are your thoughts on Karl Anthony Towns' comments, bro?
Well, he said at the end of the day, meaning assuming he's talking about the end of his basketball career as a professional athlete, which we know, I think he has some years to go, and I think he can, he's got some time to prove that. But we look at the current resume, he hasn't really changed the game.
Nope.
Like when I'm thinking, like you said, you talk about the Shaqs, the Kareems, the AIs, the Stephs, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the stuff that we're doing in the game is because of these guys.
Exactly.
Did this so well that we had to make a new wave of things. And Karl Anthony Towns hasn't done that. I know he's had that famous quote of he's the best shooting big man or best shooting big man ever. And I'm thinking like, well, you didn't really start that. You didn't perfect it. If I look at who really I think about Dirk when I think about the big man shooting. Like, there's no
Dirk did. Yep.
Dirk's 7-foot fadeaway, mid-range three, off the dribble, catch and shoot, whatever you wanted to do. Karl Anthony Towns isn't that. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. He is, but Cat hasn't really, to me, made the impact of a Dirk or anybody like that. Like you said, there's a certain level of success that comes with those people who have changed the game. And Karl Anthony Towns hasn't won a playoff series from what I understand. If you want to count the play-in,
nope.
Sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
they haven't. They made it.
He hasn't won a playoff series ever.
Right. Never.
You haven't really shown up in the times that your team probably needed you. A lot of the time, I'm not trying to have a diss on this man, but this man can't even stay in the game because of foul trouble. Like 90% of the time I've watched the Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns fouls out. I don't know if that's the right adjective to call him at this point.
Yeah,
maybe down the line.
I remember the first came out, bro. I read it's the same dude that got beat and punked during the scrimmage game at practice by Jimmy Butler, bro. You change the game.
No. No, he hasn't changed the game. Hopefully he could, make an impact because the dude is a good basketball player. He's a all-star threat for most of the time when he's healthy. Like he can be.
Right.
It's just that he hasn't really made that much of a difference on winning.
Nope.
It's hard to really say. Like you said, all the guys we named have been either champions, won at some level, got to the finals,
had success. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
even individual success. Like
I can't be mad at his confidence. He's a very confident dude, and I respect that. But at the same time, if you're gonna say that, you need to go back it up, and you need to go change something because everything that I've seen compared to what you're aspiring to be, that's a good thing. But this ain't it.
Exactly.
And I say that out of love because I feel like you said, when we saw him at Kentucky, I was like, this dude is elite.
Yeah.
And he still is. If he would just play and play the right way and win, I think he could be very much a game changer if he finds his way. Right now, he ain't there. So
no,
not yet,
man. I feel like the first thing he needs is a more stable coach that can help bring that out. Because unfortunately, he's been in a situation where he's had different coaches. he hasn't had that stability like some of these other stars have. But at the same time, it's like you just gotta see it, man. Like I believe he can do it.
Yeah.
He can potentially do it.